30 seconds. Athletes, please place a hand on your name marker, please. Ten seconds. Stand by.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's start them off with a big round of applause. A lot of national champs in this heat on the competition floor for the first time here at the 2019 Reebok CrossFit Games. All right, you can see them up there on the Jumbotron making their way around the bend. Plenty of work to be had here on event number 1, heat 1, first cut. A little bit of separation happening for these athletes. Day 1 underway. We saw the fellas come through already. Let's see what the ladies have to say as they make their way back into North Park. Let's put our hands together and welcome them back. Larry or Josh, who do we have coming in?
I'll tell you what, Keeks, we got a ton of athletes on their way in. I wasn't close enough to get the names on them as they came through, but they're coming in a large group. Quick work of that 400-meter run. Less than 90 seconds for the first.
Our leader in lane number 5. She was first to make her way up the rope, but lane number 1 here at the far end is able to get that rope climb first. Emily Rolfe out of Canada, down here at the very last rope, leading the charge. But it is much too close to call indeed, as we are just 2 minutes in towards that 20-minute time cap. They've got to get those 3 legless climbs, and then it's out to some snatches. Emily able to get another rope climb in the bag. She's next to Erin van der Esch. She is joining us from the United States of America, made her way in from the Italian Showdown.
Alice making her way up. Alice coming to us from Sweden. Big Kip. And another touch, and she has 1 rope climb to go.
We've got our first athlete to the snatches down here at the end. She's got a 1 rep lead over the rest of the competition, but here comes Emily Rolfe. Emily is in the teal shorts. Erin is in the white shorts, and then Rachel Garibay in the tights. Those teal tights joining them. So you're 1, 2, and 3 all over in lane number 1 as we hit 3 minutes in.
On the opposite side of the field, Carlson, the first to score a squat. She is 1 in.
A couple of judges' hands in the air for Van der Esch and Garibay Rolfe. All of them working on those final round of snatches before they can head over to that chest piece, move it, and back out for another run. We've got our leader. She's able to maintain that lead at the snatches. Lane number 5, Erin van der Esch. There we go. Erin in the white shorts is leading. She is followed by Emily Rolfe.
Opposite side of the field from that. Hannah Carlson from Sweden, 1 rep to go, and she will join them going into the next round. And advancing her marker to the peach top, blue pants, and she will head out
Rachel
Starting round number
Garibay in the coral sports bra, making her way out. You're 1 and 2 up on that Jumbotron. Another athlete making their way out to the next round as we approach 5 minutes in. Two more runners making their way out. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a little quiet out there. If we could put our hands together for these athletes. Give them a bit of a boost.
And Batal finishing up round number 1 on this side. She'll move her marker. She's in the beach top. Making her way on her next run.
We've got our leader back in. Emily Rolfe out of Canada in the teal shorts. Emily coming back into the Zeus rig, your leader at the very end in the teal shorts, that blue sports bra chalking up her hands. She is on her way up, working on that first of 3 rope climbs, followed very closely by Erin right next to her in the white shorts coral sports bra. Your 1 and 2 are side by side in lane number 1. And Van den Driesch taking a breather. Same story for Rolfe as they shake those arms out, but it's going to be Erin who's able to strike first. So looking to take that lead, holding on. Help her out, you guys. She needs just a few more kips. She's able to get it. Whew. So now Erin in the white shorts, coral shirt, lane number 1, is leading. Emily Rolfe with 1 more rope climb to go as well. Garibay getting a rope climb in the bag. Your 1, 2, and 3 are all in lane number 1.
On the side of the field, Kiki, Hannah Carlson back from her run. 1 rope climb in the bag for her. On that rope to make ascent number 2.
Erin Van den Driesch making her way back up about halfway. Can she get another one? Wanting to maintain her lead, but she relaxes those arms. And she's gonna have to come back down, opening the door wide open for Emily Rolfe right next to her in the teal shorts.
Eight minutes in. We are 8 minutes in.
Emily Rolfe of Canada inching her way there. It's a no rep. She made a little bit of contact with that rope, I believe, before getting to the tape. So making it to the top, excuse me. So leveling that playing field for the top spot. Rachel Garibay needing 1 more rope climb, excuse me. She's in the coral sports bra and the leggings.
And
Can
Kiki,
she take the lead from Erin and Emily?
Kiki on this side, Hannah Carlson from Sweden. 3 rope climbs done, chalking up for the snatches.
Oh, we had a little sneak attack over there. Larry, what's she wearing? What's our leader wearing?
She has got a black headband, white sunglasses, peach sports bra, and blue pants. Studding up at the bar. She's on the far end of the field, opposite from Rachel Garibay.
So those 2 athletes here, 1 and 2 at the bookends of the snatches. Garibay trying to catch our leader over on the opposite field of play.
Carlson, no rep on her first rep. Setting back up on the bar. Rapidly approaching 10 minutes on the clock and a 20-minute time cap in place for this event.
Rachel Garibay setting up for another snatch. Successful attempt. Rachel joining us, making her way in from the Rogue Invitational. That was held earlier this year out in Columbus, Ohio. 10 minutes in, athletes, you are halfway to that time cap.
5 reps to go for Carlson. Emma Tall now on the field, 1 rep in on her snatches.
Let's go ahead and put our hands together, you guys, for these athletes. It's a little quiet out there. Let's help them out. We got some snatches happening, some athletes working their way up the rope. Rachel Garibay over here at the far end in lane number 4. You'll see her run over to that marker and able to advance it on down the line as she heads back out for another run.
Putting herself squarely in first. Carlson just a couple of reps to go before she joins her.
All right, we've got a couple of athletes making their way out. We may have a little tie there, Larry. We'll have to check it out.
And Carlson with the high sign for the judge. Hannah gonna advance her marker. And she takes off for her run on round number 3. Same story for Emma Tall. Emma 1 spot away from Carlson. She advanced her marker. And she will head out on her next run.
Emily Rolfe over in lane number 1, so close again, but wraps those legs around the rope, has to come back down. 12 minutes in, athletes, towards that 20-minute time cap of Event 1, Heat 1, first cut.
Looking back to the rope climbs, hands all over the place, up in the air. Some athletes with just a single rope climb to go before they advance to or back to the barbell.
We've got a couple of athletes making attempts in lane 4 and 3 on that legless rope climb. Some of these athletes hitting that point of fatigue, and it's hard to get past once you hit that, that's for sure, but these athletes are gonna keep on trying. A little over 13 minutes in. Rachel Garibay, ladies and gentlemen, back in North Park. She's gonna make her way towards the far end of the field of play. So now Garibay lapping the majority of the field. Wise choice, moving over into the shade. Meanwhile, we've got Erin trying again. She's just a couple feet away. "14 minutes in as Garibay makes her way up, looking for 3 legless rope climbs. Your leader over in lane number 1 in that coral sports bra, Reebok leggings.
Alice Millay from Sweden, just a foot or so away from closing out her final rope climb, not able to hang on. Carlson and Tall back in. Both scoring their first rope climb on round 3 as we approach 15 minutes.
We have got 5 athletes in round number 3. 5 athletes in round number 3. And 5 athletes in round number 2. The rest of the field of play is still working on round number 1, a little over 15 minutes in.
Emma Tall knocking out another rope climb, 1 to go. Hannah Carlson also heading to the top of the rope. And Carlson with a touch, and she will have 1 rope climb remaining as well.
Emily Rolfe all the way over in lane number 1. Finally able to get that last precious rope climb for that particular round, and she can move on to the snatches. We are approaching 16 minutes in, so 4 minutes to go for our athletes.
Emma Tall knocking out that final rope climb. She will descend and make her way to the barbell. Emma Tall addressing the barbell. And a good rep to start things off for Emma. Emma in the peach top, multicolored pants, black socks, wristbands and headband. 1 rep in on round number 3. At Kiki, we're passing 17 minutes, 3 minutes, athletes, 3 minutes remaining.
With 3 minutes remaining, athlete Emily Rolfe will be able to move her chest piece into round number 3. And she'll head out for a run. Garibay working her way up the rope in lane number 1. It's a no rep, has to come back down. 2 more rope climbs needed for her. Erin in lane number 1. Oh, she thought she had it. It's a no rep. She's gonna have to just walk away, reset before she hits it again. As you can see, these judges and athletes are communicating with each other.
Coming up on 18 minutes, folks. 2 minutes, athletes, 2 minutes.
We've got athletes working on these snatches. That's from ground to overhead in 1 swift movement. Those judges keeping a close eye on them, making sure they've got full extension of those knees, hips, and arms at the top before they bring that barbell back down. 1.5 minutes to go, athletes. 90 seconds remain.
Emma Tall knocking out her 7th and final snatch. She will advance her marker. Done with round 3. She is heading out on her run for her 4th and final round.
One minute, athletes. Let's go ahead and put our hands together for them, you guys. Give them a boost. Help them out. Less than 60 seconds to go on this event number 1, heat 1. That time cap of 20 minutes is quickly approaching with 45 seconds to go. We got a couple of athletes moving into round number 4 with about 20 seconds to go. 15 seconds. 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, time. And we'll be having heat number 2, event 1 of the women's division up next.
Stand by.
All right, Josh, here we go. This is heat number 2. We saw heat number 1 tackling this event. Saw some separation on those legless rope climbs. We'll see what heat number 2 can do. Can we get somebody finished with the 4th round? Had a couple athletes into the 4th round. We'll see how this shakes out.
And our athletes making their way around our North Park Stadium. 400 meters is their first task, awaiting them some legless rope climbs and some squat snatches. This is our second heat of female athletes for the individual event known as First Cut. The fellas were the first ones to attack this event. And now the ladies looking to put on a show as our athletes make their way out onto this competition floor. All smiles as about 10 female athletes.
Woo. Shahad tearing it up from the UAE, sprinting down.
He's wasting no time as Laura Horvath and the rest of the ladies right behind her.
Shahad straight up the rope, touch at the top, and she is one rope climb in.
She means business. She came here to play. Definitely here to make a statement for the United Arab Emirates. As Horvath making her way up, same goes for Kamitani.
Shahad making her way up for climb number 2 and a pull. There we go. She had a touch, but it was not on the cross member at the top. And that judge holding her feet to the fire on that one. Shahad Badiz from the UAE, 1 rope climb to go to wrap up the rope climbs for round number 1, and we'll see her on the barbell here shortly.
And it looks like we got our first athlete over to her barbell. Make that 3 athletes on the barbell.
On this side, we got Akiko Kamatani addressing the bar.
We have
representing
Anna
Japan.
from Greece. Anna getting a couple of good reps in. Laura Horvath getting underneath the barbell as she gets a good rep in.
Passing 3 minutes and 25 seconds on the clock. Horvath cycling through.
Gilfadottir taking out some reps, but your leader, Laura Horvath, making her way back out onto that run. Meg Reardon, AKA Megatron, making her way back out onto that run. So it goes 1 Horvath, 2 Reardon. Anna making her way out onto that run. Gilfadaughter also in the mix. Lindsey Vaughn out on the run as well. So ladies and gentlemen, Laura Horvath, your current leader here in heat number 2. But Meg Reardon not that far behind.
Coming up on 4:45. Tamara Zulman from Croatia, done, I believe, on her rope climbs. She might just be chalking up.
These ladies putting on a show. Again, this second heat of athletes looking to climb up that leaderboard going into individual event number 2. As Laura makes the turn. Here comes Laura Horvath back out onto that competition floor.
Zulman from Croatia, 1 rep in on round number 1, and you called it though. Horvath on her way back in.
Meg Reardon not that far behind.
Horvath making the turn at her name.
Shadburn also back on to that competition floor. So those are your 1, 2, and 3s. Gilfadaughter, Semenza. Rounding out your top 5. These athletes are looking to go right back to work.
6:15 on the clock.
Couple of big lifts from some of our other competitors. As a handful of athletes moving into that second round.
Horvath scoring another rope climb. Quick descent she will chalk up, looking to close out this round of rope climbs. We have several athletes burned up the first run and the first couple of legless rope climbs. And found out that's where this separator is.
Meg taking a big breather. Will that allow Shadburn to catch up as Meg Reardon making her way up? Trying to get a good rep in. A handful of athletes making their way back out on the floor. As Meg getting a good rep in. But it is Horvath advancing over to the barbell now for the second time.
Laura closing out 3 rope climbs, 7 snatches.
Horvath wasting no time, Larry, as she gets a rep in. 1 down, 6 to go. As your current leader here in heat number 2 knocks out another successful lift. As we approach the 8-minute marker, Laura showing no signs of slowing down as she gets another good rep in.
You said it, quick singles, dropping it, a quick reset, not leaving the barbell.
Meg Reardon trying to play catch up. But Laura, the savvy veteran, getting underneath the bar for another successful rep. Meg getting underneath her barbell. as she gets another good rep in. The crowd getting behind the ladies of heat number 2 as Laura advancing into her 3rd round. She's putting on a clinic here, ladies and gentlemen, as she makes her way back out onto that run.
Laura heading back out again, not just competing against the other women in this heat. We have another heat of athletes coming up next. Looking to set a solid time against them. Tamara Zulim from Croatia, done.
Meg Reardon finishing as well as she chases down your leader, Laura Horvath. We are approaching the 9.5-minute marker. Look to see Shadburn.
Tamara heading the right direction now, heading back out for her next run.
There goes Anna, lane 43. Looking to take over 4th place. There goes Shadburn meeting her in the end zone as all eyes waiting patiently for Horvath and Reardon.
Past the halfway point. 10:07 on the clock, less than 10 minutes to go.
Again, we mentioned earlier, this event was posted on the main site last night, but it was announced to these athletes earlier this morning. These athletes have no idea going into today what was in store for them.
Akiko Kamatani done with that round.
Here comes Laura Horvath back onto that competition floor. Just a few feet behind her, though, Meg Reardon looking to keep this interesting. So that is your seesaw battle. Back and forth between those tremendous athletes. Shadburn back out onto that floor as well.
Just a handful of athletes in round 3, 8 out of the field, advancing that far so far as we approach 11:40 on the clock. Chad making another valiant attempt at that legless rope climb. 1 to go for her to finish up round number 1 on the rope. Just past 12 minutes. Vera Valdez advancing into round number 2.
As we have our eyes on our 1, 2, and 3s, let's make some noise for some of our other athletes out here on this competition floor. They are chipping away at the task at hand.
Carol Colling Romero advancing into round number 3.
Meg Reardon getting to the top of the Zeus rig. As Laura and Meg battle it out for first. Couple more athletes advancing.
13:30 on the clock. Josh, time starting to slip away. The battle not slowing down for first. Again, don't forget that big cut is coming. Horvath done with the rope on round 3, advancing to the barbell.
Now we have Anna over here in lane number 43 getting to the barbell before Laura. So now we have a new battle for first between Anna here in lane number 43 and Laura Horvath. Horvath in the gray shirt. Anna over here in the orange sports bra getting underneath the bar. She has 2 reps in.
I believe that's Anna Fragu out of Greece, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct, Larry, as she gets underneath the barbell.
Anna making things interesting.
Greece represented here as Anna trying to keep up with Meg and Laura.
Hand in the air for Horvath. 15 minutes in, 5 minutes remaining, athletes, 5 minutes.
Crowd getting behind Anna here. She's just got a few more reps to go. Will we see our first athlete into that 4th and final round in this heat as Anna chips away, Meg chips away. All of them trying to get to that magic number of 7. Fatigue is starting to set in for these athletes. They got to dig deep as we have passed the 15.5-minute marker. Laura Horvath going to hold on to that lead as she moves that marker into that 4th and final round. Anna right behind her as she moves that marker into that 4th and final round.
Laura heading back out, passing the ropes. Anna doing the same.
Looks like Brittany Shadburn, Anna Fraku, and Laura Horvath, your 1, 2, and 3s. Meg Reardon now dropping to 4th.
Rapidly approaching 17 minutes on the clock. A little over 3 minutes remaining. Shahad making her way to the top. Will this be it? And it looks like that wraps up her rope climbs for round number 1. Again, she led us into the stadium. That last legless giving her a tough time, but she fought it to the end and beat it.
I believe Shadburn making the move on Horvath. Approaching that 2-minute warning. It's very warm here onto that competition floor. Fatigue setting in on these athletes, but they are still working hard. And here she comes, ladies and gentlemen, your new number 1, Brittany Shadburn, taking over the lead with 2 minutes remaining. Right behind her, Laura Horvath. So
Shadburn.
you're 1, Brittany Shadburn, 2, Laura Horvath.
Shadburn finding that seam, making that move. Let's see if she can hang on to first going into the rope climbs, but you said it, we have less than 2 minutes. As a matter of fact, We have 90 seconds, athletes, 90 seconds.
Here comes Anna. Anna in the mix as well.
Approaching 19 minutes on the clock. One climb in for Shadburn. One for Horvath. One minute, athletes, 1 minute.
You heard the man, ladies. 1 minute remaining. Brittany trying to get back to that barbell.
Horvath making her second ascent, but not quite to the top. Laura letting that one go, coming down. 30 seconds. Bethany Shadburn looking to make ascent number 3 with less than 20 seconds.
Come on, Madison, make some noise as our ladies here in heat number 2, putting on quite a show with less than 10 seconds remaining.
We're gonna count it down, folks. Keep your eye on Shadburn. 2, 1, and that's time.
Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for all the athletes here. As we get set up and ready, we're gonna bring out our third heat of individual female athletes here in just a moment.
It's the third and final heat of the opening event for the women here at the 2019 Reebok CrossFit Games in beautiful Madison, Wisconsin. Thanks for being with us today, everybody, on the Rogue Iron Game. I'm Sean Woodland with Annie Sakamoto, and Chase Ingram is standing in for Dan Bailey, who is back corralling athletes for your interviews that we're bringing you. This event, though, is going to bring a whole lot of cuts because so far, not one athlete has finished this. Bethany Shadburn in the prior heat got the closest. She got through 2 rope climbs in her 4th and final round. As we take a look at the North Park here at the Alliant Energy Center. And Annie, we were talking before we came on here, it's really those legless rope climbs that are the biggest factor of this event.
Right, I think it was a factor for the gentlemen as well, but I think for a lot of the females, the legless rope climbs and in bunches of 3 for 4 rounds, it's really playing a factor. And so a lot of these ladies, if they don't know where the threshold is for something like a legless rope climb, and they go out a little too fast on rounds 1 and 2, they're gonna pay the price. And we saw that in a lot of the ladies failing rope climbs halfway, 3/4 of the way up the rope.
The top athletes out of the open are going to be on the field, including all 4 women who have won the CrossFit Games. And one of the names we heard announced, our ears all perked up, that's Samantha Briggs. This could set up very well for her.
The thing I like about this cut system and this point system as it evolves is that, you know, Sam Briggs usually at the games is kind of like that early 2-day leader. She's always sitting in first place, and then what happens? The heavy barbell comes, some of those, you know, high skill weightlifting. We're getting a snatch event out of the way. 130, heavy but doable. But legless rope climbs and Sam Briggs go hand in hand in terms of success against the rest of the field.
Oh, and let's throw a 400-meter run in there
right,
too.
That's just a minor inconvenience for her at this point.
Exactly, that's fun.
It's the 3rd and final heat, and again, no athlete has finished all the work inside the 20-minute time cap. In the prior heat, it was Bethany Shadburn who got the closest. We take a look at Tia Toomey, who is starting her pursuit of her 3rd straight CrossFit Games championship. No other woman has ever won 3. There are 3 women in this 3rd and final heat, though, who have won 2. Catherine Davis-Daughter and Annie Thorisdottir are the other 2.
And right behind her, Jamie Green, another athlete who could do really well in this event.
Annie Thorisdottir behind them. There's Catherine Davis-Daughter in the middle in the black. Back-to-back CrossFit Games champion in 2015 and 2016. In front of her is Kenzie Riley and Amanda Barnhart on the right side of your screen. Keep an eye on her. She's worked really hard in the offseason on her upper body pulling. The final heat of first cut is underway, and we start with that 400-meter run out and around the North Park here at the Alliant Energy Center. Then they come back inside the stadium, return to their lanes. It'll be 3 legless rope climbs and then 7 squat snatches at 130 pounds.
And it's got to be really hard for these ladies in a heat of 50 females, your very first event at the CrossFit Games to kick it off. Your adrenaline is going, and it's really easy to go out of the blocks way too fast.
Especially on that very first 400 meter, we just saw Catherine Davidsdottir and Sarah Sigmundsdottir blow around the pack. And in terms of the first 400, it's a mile, right? We're basically have a mile in the midst of this entire event. And when you approach it to something that lasts upwards to 15 or 20 minutes, or when nobody has finished it, what is that 8-minute time frame really going to hurt you to really need to push the pace right here? Because there's no first come, first serve. You're in your own lane. So it doesn't really matter if you're in the back of the pack of the first 400.
The women of the third and final heat are now making their way back inside the North Park as Turi Helgadottir leads the way. Haley Adams is behind her. Catherine Davidsdottir is in the mix there as well. Alessandra Bocelli on the left side of your screen. And Davidsdottir makes the turn first. Tia Toomey also making the turn for their first set of 3 legless rope climbs. There's Jamie Green making the touch. Next to her is Tia Toomey on the left. Catherine Davidsdottir is through 1. Jamie Green and Tia Toomey right back on the rope.
Both of these ladies looking really strong on the first couple of legless, but again, it's almost not the first round of legless, but the second, third, and fourth ones that really come into play.
Catherine Davidsdottir working her way up for her second rep, and it's really this movement that sort of was the end of the old Catherine and the beginning of the new Catherine. It was the movement that kept her out of the games back in 2015.
And look at this, who's to the barbell first? Miss Tia Claire Toomey.
Wait, that's 2014. As Tia Toomey first to the barbell, 7 squat snatches at 130 pounds. And just a handful of women are on that first set. Tia Toomey is on the far left of your screen. Looks like Annie Thorsdottir was moving up as well. And that looks like it's Carrie Pierce next to her in the headband on the upper right part of your screen. She's another woman in this heat who could demolish this event.
Definitely. Carrie's upper body pulling strength is phenomenal, and her work with the barbell, especially at this weight, is really good too. So she's another lady I'm watching for this event.
Toomey's done. She'll move her chest piece. Round 1 in the books. 3 more rounds to go. She starts round 2 as she makes her way out of the North Park for another 400-meter run. And she is your early leader.
And I don't see anybody else advancing to their pylons just yet, but she is off to a incredibly aggressive pace right from the beginning, which is what you like to see, especially from 2-time games champ coming in to set the tone. There is some nervousness. I mean, obviously I don't know how she feels on the ropes and how she felt on the snatches, but it's one of those, like, you still got to be a little careful because adrenaline is a very deceptive feeling when it comes to events like this.
Carrie Pearson, that's Jamie Green, are trying to chase down Tia Toomey, but Toomey's all by herself right now in the lead. Carrie Pierce rounding the first turn here on the way out of the North Park. That's Tia Toomey, who is now running parallel or perpendicular to the field. Annie Thorsdottir and Sarah Sigmundsdottir now making their ways out. Carrie Pierce right now all by herself in second place as the top women in this final heat are separating from the pack. Carrie Pierce looking to lock up maybe her 3rd event win of her career. Her best finish at the CrossFit Games was in 2016. She finished 5th overall. She was 6th last year as Tia Toomey now making her way back inside the North Park as she will start her 2nd round of 3 legless rope climbs.
And this is where you want to see is if the first round was a good idea and a good strategy. You saw Shane there right on the corner, yelling as she goes by, maybe a little tips, some game plan, maybe rest a little bit more. But those first three, look at that, wasting absolutely no time whatsoever. Fearless in terms of getting up there in enough time, but her rest was basically settle the rope, set your feet, maybe get a little bit of shock, look up, reach up, and go again.
Well, and actually that's a great strategy because coming in from the run, your grip has rested. So to be honest, that's what you want to do. You want to run, you want to grab the rope, climb, and if you're going to rest in between the rope climbs, not in between the run and the rope.
And Jamie Green on the bottom of your screen is trying to catch that woman, Tia Toomey, who is on her second of 4 sets of 3 legless rope climbs, and she is now through all 3 and will make her way back to the 130-pound barbell for her second set of 7 squat snatches. Annie Thorisdottir trying to stay towards the front.
And Jamie Green right behind Annie Thorisdottir looks still really strong on those rope climbs, and that's what we want to see. Third rope climb of the second round, how's it looking? Still really fast.
Jamie had great climbs in terms of speed. She didn't look uncomfortable. She was taking more rest than Tia. The thing I'm looking for on Tia's side is how is she looking receiving the bar in that full squat on her first rep in the last round. I think it was one of those, like, you just weren't ready what the feeling is going to be, but now you're kind of accustomed, you're kind of settling into your zone. And for someone that, you know, who could be more proficient with a barbell than someone that went to the Olympics for the sport, as Tia Claire is.
Exactly.
Approaching the 7-minute mark, 20-minute time cap here. The overall standings, the overall scores are still updating as Tia Toomey is done, as she is now halfway through this event, through 2 of 4 rounds and back out for another 400-meter run. But Laurel Horvath on the score right now, unofficially, is the woman who has the time to beat, but she didn't complete the event. But she and Paige Semenza were super close to finishing. So these are still being updated, but that's where we stand right now. Bottom line is, you finish this event, the first person to do it is going to be the event winners. Tia Toomey is out for her third 400-meter run.
And there goes Carrie Pierce. Again, as long as she can maintain pace on those runs, I think Carrie stands a great chance to do really well at this event.
And the difference between first and third place finish is only 4 points. You keep yourself in the top 10 of this event, you are just fine going the rest of the way. Tia Toomey, though, still your leader. 6 career event wins here at the CrossFit Games. She's never finished lower than second in her 4 appearances, and she has won the title of fittest on earth the last 2 years.
And look at her checking to see who's behind her right there. She wants to see what kind of a lead she has and over who.
Well, she looked back, she wouldn't have been able to see
exactly
the pace and the tempo
right
that she's going at. I mean, if you can see Tia Claire's face, it just looks comfortable.
Yeah.
Calm, almost said like this is her break time. In between what is the most intense part is those 3 legless rope climbs in the middle, and then a 130 snatch is a 130 snatch for her. So it's almost these little active recoveries in between 3 legless rope climbs, which might be why she's pushing the pace so hard when she gets to the rig.
Toomey just about done with her third 400-meter run. Here comes Carrie Pierce. As this field has really thinned out, and it's Tia Toomey all alone in first place. She's more than halfway done with this event. The time cap is 20 minutes. Third round of 3 legless rope climbs for Tia Toomey. Carrie Pierce back inside the North Park.
And Tia's still looking really fast on those rope climbs, really strong.
Now starting to use a little bit of that kip. First time we ever saw that kip, think back to 2013. It was Alessandra Pacelli in a tennis stadium.
Yes.
When the first time we had legless rope climbs, and everybody said, oh, what is that? And now it's commonplace on legless rope climbs.
The wonderful thing you give to these athletes is that you give them an insurmountable amount of work to do at the most difficult way possible, and they will find the fastest, easiest, and most efficient way to do it.
Carrie Pierce trying to catch that woman, Tia Toomey. 3 legless rope climbs down in round 3, and now it's back to the barbell. 7 more squat snatches, 130 pounds, and she'll have just 1 round remaining after that.
I mean, the pace that she's going on those rope climbs is, I figured she would at least slow down a little or get a little gun shy, but even on one where that second one looked like she was working pretty hard,
Right.
wasted no time and went up again. It's absolutely incredible what T is doing right now.
She's holding the pace similar to some of the gentlemen's pace on the men's heats, and that's really impressive because, again, I think for the ladies, the 3 legless rope climbs is just is a bit tougher than it is for a lot of the guys.
Third round of squat snatches for Tia Toomey. As Carrie Pierce in second place is back on the rope.
And I love how close she keeps herself to that rope, just that right angle with the arm. Again, she's such a strong puller. She hasn't had to use a huge kip yet, which means she's got a lot more in the tank, assuming she does know how to use a kip on the legless rope climb.
Toomey is done with round number 3. 1 round remains for Tia Toomey.
And again, she's sub 12 minutes across 3 rounds, which means she's holding a sub 4-minute pace so far.
And now a no rep for Carrie Pierce, and that's going to allow Tia Toomey to put even more distance between the two of them, as Toomey is already outside of the North Park and working on her final 400-meter run. 5 reps to go, looks like, for Carrie Pierce on this 130-pound barbell. Although the judge is not counting down, but his hand was in the air, meaning that she had at least 5 left. So Tia Toomey out of the stadium. Kenzie Riley now behind her. But Toomey is working at such a quick pace that she may be lapping the women.
I was going to say.
I don't know if Kenzie Riley's on round 4 or if she's on round 3, but Toomey is assaulting this event.
I actually think Toomey just lapped quite a few girls on that last round. And like Chase was saying, she still just looks so comfortable on that 400 meter. This is her recovery.
The problem with looking back now on your run is that you don't know where the other people are. You know, it's like she might be looking for Carrie because she was the closest one, and Carrie's still on the bar, but just to have enough time, this is I call this the crosswalk jog, right? You pretend that you're running fast because the car is sitting there waiting for you, you know, the fake jog.
I call that a sprint.
That's where Tia is right now in this event, is that we're at the crosswalk jog. We get to look around, maybe take some photos on the way back into the stadium. That is what she's doing to this field at the moment.
Right.
Well, since no one is finished, all she has to do is just beat the women on the floor. She doesn't have to push it at all right now. Just stay ahead and do what you're doing. No reason to throw the plan out the window at this point, as Carrie Pierce is finally on her 400-meter run. We don't know if Kenzie Riley was on round 3 or 4. But we do know that Tia Toomey
has finished all of her runs. She's got 3 rope climbs and 7 snatches left, 6 minutes on the clock. Assuming nothing goes wrong with the rope climbs, there's no reason she won't finish this event.
And she has a chance to win her 7th career event at the CrossFit Games. 4th and final round for Tia Toomey, 3 legless rope climbs.
And you guys are both right in terms of she can just kind of sit there at the rope and wait for the next person to come in the next 90 seconds. But the same thing that Matt likes to do is not only set the tone early, but tell them what's about to happen for the next 4 days.
Yeah, I agree.
Because everyone came is like, who's going to, you know, we've got 10 people for one spot and it's all going to get really close and we're not sure who's going to do well. Is Tia the same Tia? Is she? This is more than just a statement. This is letting everyone else know. Don't question about what's about to happen over the next 4 days.
I couldn't agree more, Chase. I think this isn't a time to to just finish, this is a time to make a statement, and that's exactly what she's doing right now.
And you absolutely could. To be honest, if I was there, I would pump the brakes until they broke off if I had it to. Right? That's just
Sipping
me.
iced
But what
tea.
her and Matt are currently doing to this elite field of individual
That's
competition.
the thing you forget, is how good the women in this final heat are. And Tia Toomey is just in a class all by herself right now.
Third and final rope climb right here.
And Toomey is done. 7 squat snatches remain for Tia Toomey as she looks to lock up her 7th career event win here at the CrossFit Games. Four minutes to go before we hit that 20-minute time cap, and this should be no problem for Tia Toomey. Carrie Pierce still in second place, now on her final set of legless rope climbs. It is lonely out there for Tia Toomey right now, the only woman on the other side of the field, the only woman on her final set of squat snatches, 130 pounds on the barbell, and Tia Toomey continues to just tear through those.
She's speeding up, and they're looking better.
Well, we've heard that her and Matt trained together a lot this year, and you can see it in the way both of them are performing, especially Tia right there. Very reminiscent of Matt's performance earlier. She is the one to beat.
Tia Toomey, 7th career event win, 100 points to start the 2019 Reebok CrossFit Games. If Carrie Pierce can get inside the 20-minute time cap, she will lock up second place and 98 points. Jamie Green and Carolyn Prevost are on the rope. They are in round number 4, I believe. So now it's all about getting yourself across the finish line and separating yourself from the rest of the athletes who win in heats 1 and 2 who are not able to finish this event. So just getting across the finish line guarantees yourself a spot in the next event.
Yeah.
Not just that, but how many times on the women's side of competition have we seen it come down to a handful of points by the end of the weekend? You know, Matt said get points while you can. That's different for Matt. When you're talking about the women's field, and it's been so tight each and every year, it's not just finishing and getting the top 5. Like, these points will add up over the weekend, and they have been the difference maker the last few years.
Carrie Pierce is in, she'll take second. Now, Katrin Davidsdottir now is just back to start her 4th and final round of legless rope climbs. And when you talk about the women who we thought would be the main challengers to Tia Toomey, Toomey is blowing all of them out of the water right now. And you mentioned points. The point differential isn't that big right now. So the more women who get in between Davidsdottir, Sigmundsdottir, and Thorisdottir, the better that's going to be for Tia Toomey here at the outset. Annie Thorisdottir, 1 rope climb to go here in her 4th and final round. She's going to have to do some work to get it inside that 20-minute time cap.
And just over a minute to go. It's highly unlikely at this point that any of these other ladies outside of Jamie Green and...
Race to the finish line, Jamie Green sliding across. Davidsdottir is looking to get herself back to the barbell. She still has a couple reps left. Haley Adams will take 4th place right behind Jamie Green. So impressive for the youngster. Fee Sagafi is in the middle of your screen. We saw her compete at the Rogue Invitational, and Sarah Sigmundsdottir.
I don't like the look
with
on her face right now.
2 legless rope climbs to go. It's going to be a log jam here. Although the good news for Sarah is that if she only had 2 left, she's basically right behind the leaders before this heat happens. She's going to be in the top 75.
It's not the result I'm worried about. It's the face
I
on
agree.
the screen
I agree.
Yep.
that I see.
I agree.
That is more worrisome than where she's going to fall on the leaderboard after that event.
I agree 100%.
Well, we've talked about her mental game, and now we're going to see how strong it is, because she's going to have to come back from what looks to be a disappointing finish for her. Tia Toomey has locked up her 7th event win. Sarah Sigmundsdottir got 1 rope climb down in the 4th round. And Toomey Sigmundsdottir was talking to a judge about something. I don't know if what that is. We'll try to keep an eye on that. But, I mean, from the beginning, Tia Toomey just put down the throttle and did not let up.
Right, her pace on the rope climbs was unbelievable. Again, to run in and get that first rope climb under your belt was so smart on Tia's part. And even her rest, it was never more than about 20 seconds in between those rope climb reps. And then once she got that first little bobble on that very first snatch out of the way, she never looked back. Like you said, Chase, every rep looked better and better and got faster and faster.
And Carrie Pierce takes 2nd place in this heat and event behind Tia Toomey.
Well, you were able to pull ahead early and stay ahead through this entire event, even lapping a couple of the other athletes on your final run. How does that set the tone for you here for the rest of the weekend?
I'm really happy with that performance, but you know, we don't know what's coming and you just have to take advantage.
What was it like being out there with so many other women? We've seen more athletes here from more places in the entire world than ever before. How does that change the experience of day one for you?
Oh, it's awesome. It actually brings me back to my first day. And just seeing their faces and all the excitement, it's just really rewarding and also an honor to be a part of.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone.
7th career event win for Tia Toomey and 100 points in the overall standings as only 4 women finished all the work inside that 20-minute time gap. Carrie Pierce, Jamie Green, and then Haley Adams takes 4th, and we'll have to see how the rest of the leaderboard shakes out before we determine who will be moving on to event number 2 for the individuals here at the 2019 Reebok CrossFit Games. We'll be back with more from the Rogue Iron Game when we return to Madison, Wisconsin.